Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
You are now listening to the Backseat Critics, the movie review podcast.
Welcome back to the Backseat Critics. My name's RJ.
And my name's Andrew. And we have a guest with us today.
No, that's not how the podcast normally works.
This is a super great format, by the way.
I know, as we twist the mic around.
So this is a podcast where we review movies that you should steer clear of. And bro, you really turned the mic away from me mid-sentence. Whoa!
I was so excited to announce our guest today. That's what happened.
So Trevor, do you want to talk about Anthony Michael Hall?
No, not particularly.
Let him talk about himself. We have a guest on. Let's be nice guest or nice host.
Fair. Go nuts.
Talk about your Trevor. Let the people know what you're like.
What is Anthony Michael Hall like?
What's your favorite color?
Favorite color is blue.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
That's fair. I can argue with that.
And what's your thoughts about the Haunted Mansion? Overall, ride, everything about Haunted Mansion-y.
The whole lore, I love it. When I was a kid and the older Haunted Mansion movie was coming out, I saw that there was a novelization of it, and so I had it specifically ordered at Borders. And the book that they got me was actually about like the ride, the Haunted Mansion, and how it was made and everything. And I was too shy to say, no, that's not the book that I wanted. But I'm glad that I have it because I've read through it several times. It's very interesting. I know a lot about the Haunted Mansion.
So what do you know about the Haunted Mansion? Spill the beans. And how does it tie into Bob Iger?
Bob Iger was CEO.
He's number one
much
hated
after.
on our list, by the way.
What?
He's number one hated list right now.
What?
He's on our most hated list.
Cool. Okay.
Number one.
Got it. What was the question?
Why you like Bob Iger?
I don't think you're being very consistent here.
What's it feel like to be a scab?
It's not.
Are you crossing the border for Bob Iger?
I feel like I'm just gonna stop answering these questions and hoping that you stop.
So welcome back to the Backseat Critics. We have a guest with us, Trevor. Trevor, what's your favorite thing about the Haunted Mansion ride?
Well, there's a clock in it that I really like because you don't notice it at first, but when you get close to it, you can see that it has like a face in it, and it's like a kind of like a devil face, and the pendulum is like its forked tongue, and actually shows up in the movie briefly.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't that one that keeps on spinning?
Yes, it keeps spinning because I think it's meant to indicate that it's past midnight, and then at that point in the ride, you actually see the ghost. Because before that, you don't see anything, which is played with in the movie as well.
Besides the ghost host.
This thing?
You don't see. Yes, you don't see the ghost host though.
You hear the ghost host.
You hear the ghost host.
Which was almost a crow, wasn't it? If I remember right.
It was a what?
A crow. I think it's almost a bird. At one point, it was supposed to be a cat.
There's a crow that shows up several times during the ride, and I think people have. There's no like, nothing's really locked down in the Haunted Mansion lore. It's kind of all over.
Oh, there's
the place.
lore.
Kind of. Yes.
Oh, dive in.
Well, I really want to go to the one in Euro Disney, although I'm not sure if this is still accurate, because that one actually had a bit of a narrative where you follow the bride character, and it's hinted that she is like the bride of whoever the ghost host is, and in that version, you normally see... so in the U.S. ones, you see the guy hanging in the stretching room.
Yep.
In the Euro Disney one, you can see a guy being like hanged because I think that the bride's the groom of the bride.
Where can we find this?
Euro Disney, although I'm not sure if it's still accurate because that's from the book that's about 20 years old now.
They might have taken that out by now.
Or maybe that was just concept art or something. But
Maybe.
there was more of a narrative in the Euro Disney one.
Now we got to remember that in the Haunted Mansion there's two different directions going on at once. At one point of the ride, and then you can see the flip of it in the middle part of the ride.
When you see the ghosts?
Yes.
Yes.
I think it's once you hit the graveyard, it changes.
No, because the graveyard's at Disneyland at least. The graveyard's at the very end. I think it's when you hit the dining room.
When it's supposed to be, you're actually right. When it hits the dining room, it's not supposed to be as scary.
Yeah.
From that point on.
Yeah, my niece would disagree with you, but yes.
I love the dining room part, the fact that they have that spider web in it.
Mm-hmm. The
That's
crack.
Supposed to be somebody who shot the window, snuck in with a BB gun and shot the window. Yeah, as a kid, back in the day when the ride first started.
Because it's a Pepper's Ghost effect, where you have like a pane of glass, and that's why they look like ghosts. Because the animatronics are actually beneath where the riders are, and it's reflected somehow. And so, since there's a crack in the glass, there's just like a spider web kind of thing that you can see, and it's too expensive for them to fix it.
Well, at this point in the show, this is where we kind of list off what we're going to do today. I usually let Andrew take over, so as per usual, I will not let Andrew take over today. Okay, so we will let Andrew take over, I guess.
So today we're going to go over some news topics, which I don't really feel like talking about any today.
So the first one is actually going to be about how Disney creates... after 3 seasons, they actually rename their shows, so they don't have to pay their actors.
As of 2023, when Disneyland Paris reopened after the COVID whole thing, or late 2022, they actually removed all the nooses. So I don't know if that was accurate before, but it's at least not accurate from now on.
Wow, lame.
Yeah.
How puritanical.
Actually, we should get Trevor's opinion here. Do you like the original ride, or do you like the Nightmare Before Christmas makeover?
And should we still have public hangings?
Yes. But with regards to... I have to side with Ryan Gosling here, who... There's a video of him saying, I can't go to Disneyland in October through December because I hate what they do to the Haunted Mansion. And I've been on it once or twice, and I agree. It's kind of cute, very gimmicky... And when it's like early November, it feels too early for Christmas. And also, it's Christmas. It's not, they do it for Halloween and Christmas because, it's a Halloween and Christmas movie. But like, if I'm going on the Haunted Mansion in October, I don't want it to be more toned down is the thing.
So what do they do? What are the changes exactly between?
I don't know, like, specifically off the top of my head, but it's just a much different ride featuring characters from The Nightmare Before Christmas.
So they add more Nightmare Before Christmas.
It's entirely Nightmare Before Christmas, and they remove pretty much all of the original characters. I believe so, if I remember correctly. I agree.
That's so stupid.
I agree.
Can I just make a hot take here? Nightmare Before Christmas is good, but so overrated.
That's fair.
Okay, a little bit of a hot take. Anyways,
it's good. It's just.
Have you played Kingdom Hearts?
Oh, fair
Have you played the level? The level's pretty good.
That is valid. But that's not the movie.
No, but the level's pretty good.
Yes, I can agree with that.
Have you guys seen Danny Elfman now?
No.
He's ripped.
Anyways.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So did you ever go... So you've never been on it? The Nightmare Before Christmas part?
I have once. One of my visits that I've been to Disneyland, I think it was in October, and I thought that what they did was they did a Halloween one, and then they shifted it to Christmas, but it was all Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yep.
That is not the case. It is October, and it will be Christmassy, which feels so wrong.
Yep, they do that then. And then actually the first time I went on it, they actually made it cardboard cutouts. So they didn't even have the animatronics yet. So it was cardboard. It was plywood.
This is Disneyland.
Yeah, they did it with plywood. They painted the Nightmare Before Christmas characters on it and made them move around.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Universal Studios?
Yes.
Have you been there during like the holiday season?
No.
Around Halloween.
I've been to Halloween Horror Nights.
Okay. That compared to Disneyland during Halloween. Thoughts?
Like...
as far as like the changes that they make and the decorations that they do.
Off the top of my head, all I remember for Disneyland is the Haunted Mansion, and then... maybe they have some spooky stuff,
well,
some spooky
you got
merch.
the Oogie Boogie Bash.
They're very different audiences because Halloween Horror Nights, I'm so bad at haunted houses. I've literally made haunted house actors break character and laugh because I scream like Steve Smith from American Dad.
Ditto.
Great. So yeah, they can be kind of intense.
I know what we're doing this October.
I went the year that they did The Shining for one of their mazes. They called them mazes. And The lady, the bathtub lady, came so close to me. She ran up to me. I literally just like dropped to the ground and screamed.
You gotta do Andrew's. So, last question before we really get into the show here. Alex from the Jungle Cruise, the skipper. Have you ever had him before?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so Alex, when I went on the Jungle Cruise, the last time I went to Disneyland, I had this Jungle Cruise skipper named Alex. Dude was hung over leading the Jungle Cruise. He goes, "There is the Jungle Cruise. Here is the rocks. Aren't they granted?" Whatever, making the jokes. And by golly, I just wanted to say how bad he was. So there is Reddit reviews on this fella. How bad he is.
Oh my. I thought you were going to say he was hung. And I was like, how on earth did you know that, RJ?
Yeah, he was hung over. Hung over. He came up, you could tell, he came up driving on that boat saying, "Nope, not today, Woody."
That sucks. That really makes or
he
breaks
wore
the ride.
sunglasses the whole time, and yeah, I just wanted to get off the boat.
10-minute ride, too.
And he ruined it.
That sucks.
He ruined it.
What's his name?
Alex. So he's on our list.
For spreading awareness.
Spreading awareness. Don't ride with Alex. Wait for Skipper Carl. Has great reviews on Reddit.
Nice.
Yeah. Or
I'm so sorry about my language earlier. That was inappropriate, and I've crossed some lines, so I apologize.
Or Artemis. Ride with Artemis as well. So. No. Nope, that wasn't him. All right, so normally, we're going to get into a little quiz question. Then we're going to get into little news topics. And then we're going to hit probably our favorite characters, I take it. Favorite scenes after that. I'm going to take it because Andrew hasn't given me a yes or no. So I'm going to roll favorite scenes. Then our favorite what moments as I'm taking Andrew's roll right now. And then we're going to end. Final thoughts. All right. So quiz question. Haunted Mansion is actually one of the biggest hidden Mickeys in all of Disneyland. What is the biggest hidden Mickey? Now, granted, before I really go into that, the reason why the Haunted Mansion is one of the biggest hidden Mickeys is because you have the lobby area where you go into before you go on one of the elevators. And those elevators, who are circle as well, make the ears. So when you look from a top-down view.
Yeah.
No, it's one of the biggest, but what is the biggest?
Oh, the biggest one is overhead.
We wait. Chip chop, boy. We wait, sir.
I don't specifically know. I just know what style of hidden Mickey it is, I guess.
So we will get into that a little later. First topic is that Disney, what they will do. What's your guys' feelings about how Disney, they will try to underpay their actors and actresses for the Disney Channel by making it so every 3 years they change the name of the show so that they don't top out on side of their contracts.
I heard about this. I haven't done a lot of research into it.
So they get paid like 88% of the rate for the first 3 years, but then after that, they get bumped up to 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But because Disney will change the title, it's a quote-unquote new show.
Yeah.
So they keep them at the 88%. This isn't a unique thing to Disney. Netflix also does this because they actually give their actors and crew a pay raise on the third season, which is why you'll see a lot of stuff last maybe 2 seasons, maybe 3 seasons, and then it cuts.
Yeah, so what I saw, the only examples that were provided were Sweet Life, which became Sweet Life on Deck,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think it was Austin and Alley or something, but that was like a little bit after me, so I wasn't sure.
Hannah Montana.
What did Hannah Montana's title change
Hannah
to?
Montana Forever.
I didn't even know that. I stopped watching it.
Hannah Montana is one, and then also there was another one with I believe Dove Cameron. She made her another show.
Okay.
And then Sunny with a Chance, I believe, changes as well.
That's so strange. Because I always wondered why they rebooted Sweet Life. I'd never watched it, but with pretty much most of the original cast, and I guess that makes a lot of sense then.
And I believe the spin-off as well for Sweet Life.
The movie?
No, there's one with Sweet Life on Deck. You have the other actress, I forgot her name, but she be basically Jessie with a Jessie. I think it's Jessie something.
Sunny with a Chance?
No, Jessie.
There was Jessie something. I don't know.
It was a Jessie show.
These were all after my time.
She also, as well, her show changes as well, if I remember right.
Jesse McCartney?
No, that is a singer, sir.
No, that is Roxas, actually.
Jesse, it's a show with Cameron Boyce. Pass away. Rest in peace, Cameron Boyce.
Okay, yeah, that sounds vaguely familiar.
That's where Cameron Boyce gets his start.
Okay.
Or one of his starts. He's actually in a movie called Mirrors with Kiefer Sutherland.
He was in that movie.
He was in the
Was that
movie.
movie where the lady like rips her face open or something?
No,
Okay, maybe
not in Mirrors. Mirrors is where like whatever happens in a mirror.
Yeah, she like.
Does
yeah,
she?
Yeah,
Oh,
something like that happens. There's a weird death in it.
you know what? In all honesty, I've only been halfway through that movie.
I'm looking at the cast of Sweet Life, and I found what it would look like if Stephen Miller had hair.
Okay.
For political people, the stupid Trump advisor.
Noted.
Years ago.
Anyways, what are you guys' thoughts on this? 3 years, change the name, undercut the actors.
It's messed up. I think it was also underpaying the writers as well, since that's also a part of the strike that's going on. Yeah, I mean, if there's a creative reason to do it, I guess that's fine, but that doesn't appear to be the case, especially with, I mean, at least with Sweet Life, they kind of changed the premise.
Bob Iger pinching those pennies.
Yeah, but with the other ones, it appears to just be the same show with a different title. And this actually reminds me of, there was a show on Showtime a while back. It was called The Big C. It was like a comedy with Laura Linney about her having cancer. Great show. 3 seasons, and then a final season that was actually a mini-series, because it was called The Big C Hereafter. So
Okay.
it seems like that might be the same kind of situation, where they just...
Trying to cut the actors. all the money.
Yeah, that would
So
make a lot of
I feel like
sense.
movies are the way to go.
Fair.
Jamie, this dude looks like an eraser head.
The guy can't tell if he's a rock, but yeah. Did she send it to everybody?
I sent it to the backseat critics and I sent it to you.
Can't tell if he's the Rock or Vin Diesel. All right.
Join the Diesel Johnson.
Last news topic I always like to talk about.
Thanks for taking my take, bro. But anyways, no, it's stupid that execs like screw over crew workers like this, and it's like a long time thing that's just been going on for years. Like Bob Iger's like one of the top paid like producers in the world,
And he hasn't. I mean, he's made some swings. He's acquired some stuff, but look, how's that going now? How are the Marvel movies doing? Not very well.
No, and even when he was CEO back in the day, from like what 2001 to 2010,
I have no
12,
idea.
something like
I'm
that.
not sure.
Like, what was really a hit then outside of maybe like, I mean, even Princess and the Frog, which was a good movie
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't really a hit.
No, not at all. I don't think it even performed very well.
No.
It's,
So like, this dude's paid just crazy amounts of money, and then the crew and writers just get completely screwed over.
yeah, it's 100%
It's
with you
stupid.
there.
I'd like to move on to the next news topic. Lorcana.
We should eat Bob Iger. Eat the rip.
Okay, so before we get into that, get into the real Jungle Cruise, Alex. Lorcana, you excited? Thoughts? Have you heard about Lorcana?
I don't know. No.
Disney card game coming out.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Getting sued raised twice. It's on its second suit. I believe Upper Deck is suing it now.
Yeah.
Upper Deck Cards, which is
West Coast Wizards and then
Yep.
Upper Deck.
What was it called?
upper. It's Lorcana. Lorcana. I'm excited.
Lorcana?
Yeah, it's like Magic the Gathering meets Disney. Is kind of my
Okay.
understanding.
Okay. Huh.
So it's been there's 2 suits against it. I think one from West Coast Wizards and the other from Upper Deck.
Okay. Just because the gameplay is similar, or?
Yeah, basically, from my understanding, some of the artwork is actually taken from some of the artists that work at those companies,
Oh,
and then
no.
also a lot of the gameplay is basically directly copied from, which feels kind of weird because what do you
Disney doesn't.
if you're going to say something, get on mic. That's an invitation to get over here. If you're come over here.
Gosh, we have another guest all of a sudden.
For those who don't know, this is Jamie, who came up with the name. She's a jerk.
So if one of the lawsuits is
So if one of the lawsuits is over the use of artists that belong to other companies, doesn't Disney already have enough artists?
Depends who you ask. Are you asking Disney execs or are you asking everyone else?
Anybody who's listening to this show?
So to our 5 listeners,
We love you, Canada. And Ireland.
Well, that's interesting. That sucks that the artist's work is kind of being undermined for that.
don't quote me on that, but that was my understanding when I read through that like a couple weeks ago, that some of the artist's work was being used, which was, it's kind of lame.
I mean, it sounds like what we were just talking about.
All right, so that fun time of the show where we move on to our favorite characters. We should be nice.
We're not even doing the 2-minute summary?
Oh, yeah, actually, no.
You criticize me all the time.
Because you forget, Andrew forgets it all the time.
The episode.
Well, guess what? We're going to do the 2-minute summary, and today, because we have the special guest, we're going to utilize the special guest. Trevor, you're about to be on the clock for a 2-minute summary.
Okay, I'll get started. I'm
Ready?
looking at IMDb for the characters' names
Andrew
right
has
now.
the timer pulled up, and you got to get ready, set, go.
All right, so Gabbie and her son Travis move into this new place, which they found on Zillow. You'll notice that this movie mentions a lot of brands. When they move in, they discover that this mansion is haunted. But
That was a surprise to us all.
yes, so there's the whole thing in the ride of a ghost will follow you home, and so anytime anyone enters the mansion,
Minute 30 lip remaining.
the ghosts will try and force them to come back. And there's kind of a whole mystery about what the origins of the mansion are. And she recruits Ben, played by LaKeith Stanfield. Stanfield, yes.
Great actor. Check out Sorry to Bother You if you enjoy him.
And Judas and the Black Messiah as well.
Also.
And then a cast of zany characters winds up in the mansion, including Tiffany Haddish as Harriet
1
the
minute
Medium,
remaining.
Danny DeVito as Bruce the historian, and of course we have the iconic Madame
How
Leota,
much
played
alcohol did you put in this alcohol?
by Jamie Lee Curtis. And it's up to them to figure out what's going on with this mansion, to try and get the ghosts off their backs when they leave. And they discover some sinister goings-on in the mansion.
30 seconds remaining.
And I have 30 seconds left. And there is also a sinister ghost called the Hatbox Ghost. If you're a fan of the ride, you'll know who that is.
20 seconds.
Played by Jared Leto for some reason. That doesn't make sense to me because they alter his voice so much. So it's like, why are you paying for Jared Leto if you're just going to entirely change his voice? That was so bizarre
10,
to me.
9, 8.
Not that I'm a
7,
fan or that I wanted
6,
to hear Jared Leto's
5,
voice, but I'm just
4,
like,
3.
why would
2,
you
1.
do that?
Done. And that is our 2-minute summary brought to you by Trevor.
So no one will know what happens at the end.
That was a 2-minute summary brought to you by Beach Bums Never Die. All right. So now we move on to one of our favorite topics, characters of the movie.
Oh no, I forgot to record something for the characters. So here's something. So quick rules for the characters.
Who are they?
We're talking about like what our favorite characters
I
for
don't know
the
what
movie
they
are.
are.
Okay. Once somebody chooses that character, it's off the table.
Okay.
They're off the table. Not it. They're not. I'm not objectifying people here, but you know,
Feel ya. Got it. So who starts?
You are the guest.
you are the guest. Go ahead.
My favorite character was Bruce, played by Danny DeVito. That
AKA
man
Frank.
can make anything funny, and he does, actually. He has my favorite line in the movie.
Frank.
Danny DeVito.
Yeah, Frank from Always Sunny.
It's this great button where like LaKeith Stanfield's
Okay,
character is like giving this sad monologue about his dead wife.
Is it just me, or is that child-friendly Frank from Always Sunny?
For sure, absolutely.
I mean,
that's
that's Danny DeVito.
why he's the best character.
Yeah.
It's quite
I
simple.
kind of hate you.
Okay.
for taking him.
I feel very attacked.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, it's he tells this really emotional story about his dead wife, and in the story she goes to she gets ice cream at Baskin Robbins, and she gets like tater tots, and she gets like a Philly cheesesteak or something.
Has 31 flavors.
I did know that, yeah. And then
amazing.
Danny DeVito just undermines it by saying, "Oh, there's a cholesterol on this lady." I'm not doing it justice, but it was probably one of the funnier parts of the movie.
Give the mic, call him out.
Okay. Andrew, what is your favorite? Who was your favorite character?
So now that I'm being called out. Okay. I don't know why I'm taking it harder today. I'm going to go with LaKeith Stanfield. He's the only character with actual depth to him.
He carries the dramatic heft of the movie and does it quite well.
And he's a solid actor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't feel like Owen Wilson really brought it to this movie. Danny DeVito, you did take. No, I'm not giving the mic to you, RJ. No, you're cut off. But anyways, I enjoyed LaKeith Stanfield's. He was the main drive of the movie. I did feel like the movie was a bit too cluttered with characters.
Oh, yeah.
If they cut it down and they kept like Danny DeVito, which I totally agree, he is the best character. But if they kept him, LaKeith, and maybe one other, I think we'd be game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm cutting RJ off. So, anyways, what's your number 2?
Oh my gosh! Yeah, LaKeith Stanfield, by the way, plays Snoop Dogg in Straight Outta Compton. Shout out to that. And then, what?
I haven't seen that.
He also turns into a half man, half horse in Sorry to Bother You. Spoilers. And then he just beats the crap out of the owner of the company. It's such a great movie.
It's a great movie, I agree.
Owen Wilson, by the way, in this movie plays Owen Wilson. You know,
I thought
this man complains about how much he has to edit on Tuesday nights sometimes, and this man's gonna wake up tomorrow.
to edit this tomorrow night sober.
And he's gonna hate himself for this, so it's gonna be great. My favorite character, because you guys took my top 2, is gonna be Chase Dillon. A little Travis on you, a little kid.
Oh, Travis was going to be my second. That kid's a star.
He's a fantastic child actor.
I wish that he was in it more, actually.
Okay. So, would you take the kids from the first Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy compared to this kid?
This kid, 100%.
So wait, which one are you taking it?
I don't know if it was the right. Wow, I just hit myself in the face with the mic. So I don't know if it was the writing or the acting, but no, this kid actually brought it to this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's one of the few characters I would actually keep in this.
Yes,
for sure.
So the first scene actually with him when the mom's just like, where he's like, it's haunted, right? And the mom's just like, no, it's not haunted. And then all of a sudden she's like, Rosario Dawson, by the way, Rosario Dawson.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, nah, let's get out of here.
With a smile on her face.
Yes, perfect. But that kid, perfect. Throughout the whole time, he played the daddy issues up well.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed his acting as a kid actor. I hope to see him more.
I agree.
In more movies. Trevor, you're number 2.
Wait, I was going to say it's really nice to see a
different kid.
No, I was going to say it's really nice to see a kid written in a movie as more mature and with more depth than oh, I just have a crush on a girl, or oh, hey, I want more candy, or to play video games, or some more depth to them than that, and actually treating them like a person.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell you anything about the kids from the first one, except that I think the sister was kind of a brat and she knew Latin, and the boy was afraid of everything.
Yeah, I just feel a lot of kid characters are written kind of flatly, and it's nice to see.
He, along with LaKeith Stanfield, carries a lot of the dramatic heft of the movie as well. It's their relationship is one of the core things in the movie.
Those are good. They played it off well too.
I agree. My second favorite would probably have to be Harriet, played by Tiffany Haddish, who I can kind of I don't have very strong feelings about Tiffany Haddish, but I think that she was one of the funnier characters. Another one of my favorite, like, just little, like, details from the movie is there's, like, a seance scene, and someone's like, whoa, you actually did that. And she's, like, picking up a glass of water, and her hand is shaking, but her voice is just like, oh, yeah, I do it all the time.
Yep. I caught that. The fake.
She's very fake, but she also kind of gets, like, a little bit of an arc. It's kind of just happens, but it's something.
Her meets Jamie Lee Curtis from Madame Leota. Gets a little bit of the arc.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Number 2, Andrew. What you got? Nothing. I know.
Wow. Okay. That's really good. So I'm not totally behind this guy. I mean, not that I don't. I like Owen Wilson. I like him when he does well. Like Midnight in Paris, great movie. Bottle Rocket, great movie. He didn't really bring it to this movie, but he brought it a little bit more than everyone else.
I can kind of agree with that. Like, I think that when I got out of this movie, I saw it with my partner, and he was like, why do they hire Owen Wilson to just play Owen Wilson? And it's like, that's not, like, the worst thing in the world, but it's also...
He can act.
It is what it is, yeah.
Like, he can act. He's got more range than this.
I mean, I think that maybe he just wanted the check and kind of was just there to do his thing, which is fine. I definitely got the vibe that the cast was enjoying making the movie. It seemed like they were having fun with each other.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. RJ's over there throwing a little hissy fit. So, anyways, yeah. No, I was just. It's nice to see Owen Wilson kind of doing stuff, even though he's not really, like, bringing it to a movie.
Fair.
Which, like, to kind of, to let me speak my speak. Let me speak my speak.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go pee while this man tries to
So
put words together.
So, like, the original Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy, that dude brought nothing to it.
Concur.
Like, 100%.
I need to see it again. It's been a while, but...
I will go to the grave, and I love...
No pun intended.
I love Dolomite movies to begin with, but the last movie I've seen Eddie Murphy in the last 20 years actually, like, give an effort to was Dolomite Is My Name. And so, like, I don't know. I get the same vibe from, like, Owen Wilson, where it's like you get, like, him actually putting forth an effort.
Yeah.
Every so often.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the time, it's just, like, it's just him. And that's what he is in this, but, like, he's my number 2 because really no one else really brought it for me.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably going to end there. We'll see what RJ says, but...
My number 2 character is going to be the sketch artist.
Played by... What's his name?
Hassan.
Played by Hassan Minhaj.
Yes. I just like the fact that he just kind of was like, what the heck? And went with what these 2 crazy guys went with as far as sketching and still sketched it.
Yeah.
I don't think that would happen in police.
So I think I'm gonna give up at this point. I don't have much else to say about any. I don't have anything else to say about any of the characters. At least nothing positive.
Okay, Jamie Lee Curtis. Why was her head CG'd for 90% of the movie?
Why did she only have an accent in the second half of the movie?
Also that.
Very weird. Very weird choice.
Winona Ryder was literally just to buff out the cast.
Yes.
That's 100% the reason they brought Winona Ryder on. Same with Dan Levi.
That scene. We'll get there. We'll get around to that scene.
Charity Jordan, who played Alyssa, is my number 3.
Oh, yes. Okay. Good choice. The wife, yes.
Yes.
The one with the cholesterol, yes.
Super high cholesterol that enjoyed popcorn chicken?
Tater tots, Baskin Robbins, and something else. I don't remember.
Okay. For some reason I thought, okay. Maybe I'm, okay. Anyways, she's my number 3 because she gave my number one the motivation to continue through the movie. So she's my number 3 because she's just kind of important overall to the plot, not because she's the most, not because she's like most important to the plot, not because she's the most interesting. Sorry, not because she's the most interesting or like a joy to see on screen, but because she's kind of really important to the plot and the main character's kind of arc as a character.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
My last final character is going to be the Captain Ghost. Ghost Captain. Give you the Scooby-Doo vibes.
Yeah.
There'd be crabs in the dungeons. Arr.
He helped them out. He saved their lives. Helped them find the ghost, the Hatbox Ghost head, skull thing, top hat, and bobber. And saved their lives. But you know what? He was a good haunt. He was.
He was. I wish we could have seen more of him in person. Or physically, I mean. Not physically, just see him. Because he's invisible for pretty much the whole movie.
Yeah, he is. How awesome would it be to be able to like summon a tidal wave at any point in time and just like wash anyone away? Anyways, we're moving on to scenes.
We're off to talk about C.
What's happening?
The magical
What's your top
wizard scene.
Trevor?
Top scene. You know, I did like when they were revealing kind of the backstory of the Hatbox Ghost, the animation style that they did it in. It kind of reminded me of like in Deathly Hallows when they tell like the tale of the 3 brothers or whatever, and they cut to this like kind of animated thing. I thought that was cool. I thought it was just visually kind of interesting because I found the movie visually boring. And it was something that changed up.
Understatement of the year.
So it was something that kind of changed up and like gave you kind of a shot in the arm. Unfortunately, it's undermined by the scenes after it.
From 2023 look worse than the effects from like 2003?
Oh, the effects were so bad. This movie is so cheap looking. Why was it not just put on streaming in October?
They could have cut 30 minutes of filming out and put the budget towards effects,
that too.
Props,
yeah,
masks.
So I like the animated scene. I thought that was cool.
Okay. My number 1 scene. So for those, I mean, you guys may or may not know, I cry during movies. Even if I'm not emotionally invested, if the strings swell, there's a tear going. It's the cover. So anyways, dude, I missed 10 minutes of Across the Universe? Across the Spider-Verse?
Across the Spider-Verse. Okay, I thought you were going to say
I was
something.
tearing up and like I wasn't even really paying attention to the plot. It's just like the soundtrack was like swelling and people were like, I can't believe you did this, and I'm like, oh no. It's just it could be like an Adam Sandler movie like I just don't care about and I'm not invested in.
Oh, hold up.
And the moment the strings swell, I could be like cooking dinner.
What was the scene?
The scene was when he's running down the stairs to stop the kid from committing suicide to go see his dad.
Okay, that does happen, right?
And it's such a out of left field scene for this movie, which is about dead people, but we're talking about a kid committing suicide to see his dad, which is like an especially heavy topic to like talk about. Meanwhile, Disney's removing nooses and hangings from their haunted mansions because it's insensitive. But child suicide is like on the board. So like, I don't know what's going on, but like that scene got me. That scene got me. I mean, there's another scene too, but it's
Save that scene for scene number 2. Dopes. But my favorite scene
God, it was so good tonight.
is Bruce. Bruce, my man, when he comes in, he goes, nothing's going to stop me to get into the house. And he gets dragged out of the house by the Hatbox Ghost on the chair and put in front of a semi-truck. Fantastic scene. Gave me the giggles.
And he lives. He's fine. He's totally fine, actually.
When I say it gives me the giggles, I just ate more popcorn. But it was fantastic. I love that scene. Great scene to introduce Bruce like Frank from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Which, recommend that show. That's a great show. At least the first 10 seasons? I haven't.
Oh,
really
no, it's
seen
still
much.
good.
It is still good?
It is still good.
Okay. I've seen like spots of it afterwards. I just haven't really sat down to like watch it. What's your number 2, Trev?
I think I'm gonna.
Can I call you Trevor, or does it have to be Trevor?
You can call me whatever you want, as long as I respond to it. That's the main thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna piggyback off what you said because I do think that like even though I'm like not the biggest fan of this
Just keep
movie,
it out, Trevor, for now.
I'm not the biggest fan of this movie, but I think that some of the like the LaKeith Stanfield stuff mostly worked. Like the dramatic stuff kind of worked, and I thought it was really sweet at the end because they established in the movie that if you didn't die in like a haunted place or like you didn't have unfinished business or something, then you move on to like the actual afterlife and you're not in the haunted mansion or whatever. But then sometimes there will be winks from the afterlife. Like Tiffany Haddish says her dad like trains, but she hears trains sometimes and she knows that's her dad winking at her. And at the very end of the movie, there's this cat that's been coming to LaKeith Stanfield's apartment and...
Sorry. Trains are her dad winking at her? I didn't catch that the first
I think
time.
she's saying that she hears it when there's not actually a train nearby
Did you
is
ever
why
see
she
The
thinks
Wicker
that.
Man? Where anytime he thinks of the dead girl, he like sees a semi-truck plow past him.
Yes. Yes, that movie is... I need to watch that again, actually. Thank you for reminding me. But there's a cat that keeps showing up to LaKeith Stanfield's apartment, and at the end, like the very last scene, actually, he like looks at his collar finally. It's Tater Tot. So that's his wife winking at him. I thought that was a good little scene to end the movie. Well, I guess that wasn't the last scene, but it was like right before the last scene. And it was just... It kind of took that full circle.
Cute.
So that's my second.
Is it because it's cute?
It is cute. It's very sweet.
But what if it wasn't cute?
I don't know. Also,
Well, if you did know.
The cat was CGI in one scene that looked so weird.
But what if it wasn't CGI?
It would have looked less weird.
But if it didn't look less weird?
I'm going to stop responding to you now.
But what if you didn't?
So my number... I got your back, Trev.
Thank you.
So my number 2 is going to be the scene where we know it through the whole movie that LaKeith Stanfield's wife died.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
This girl dies.
It keeps coming up.
We know it. But like when he finally like admits the fact that she died and we have that flashback of them like he's showing her the lens and then she's like admiring the lens that can take photos of dead people. And I mean, I guess technically any camera lens can take pictures of dead people, but
Spirits.
depends how hard you dig. But anyways, like it can take pictures of ghosts in like the spectral plane or something like that. Whatever. Anyways, and he's like proposing and all that crap. It's meaningless. I also cried there. That's going to be my number 2. Because it was maybe like the one other character that felt like they had to be here, that actually had like motivation to be in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Happy that you're finally coming to with your feelings and this cryings. It's finally for once.
Dude, you have no idea how many movies we've gone to where I've cried. And I just sit there staring at the screen like, I hate this. I hate this.
Zombie was one of them. Zombies, I could tell. When you're like, he's a zombie. You can't love him.
He's a zombie!
Good God.
Warm bodies?
No.
I'm assuming the decom.
Love cured the zombie.
Yes, the decom.
Hot question. If it was a dead body but it was still warm, would you fuck it? RJ, you go first.
Anyways, my number 2 scene will be when they take Frank inside of the sushi shop and they're trying to say, "Hey, no, you can't go into this mansion. No." And then they all of a sudden decide to steal the map really fast and try to run out with it. And they're like, as soon as they hear that he has a heart condition, they're like, "Nope, you ain't coming in here because you're going to get stuck." That was my number 2 scene.
The heart condition that never comes up again in the entire movie, even though...
No.
The heart condition that's played off for one joke, which is him being dragged into the street, given an almost heart attack, taken to the hospital, played off for a second joke in which a bed starts to malfunction or is haunted, and he's like, "No, get me out of here," and then is, like Trev said, never touched on ever again.
The final scene of the movie takes place 1 week later. It says 1 week later, and there's no evidence that he's recently had surgery.
No. The heart condition takes place again when the Hatbox Ghost possesses him.
Yes, that was kind of poorly established what exactly was happening in that
But
scene.
listen, if I knew it was happening, then we knew that everybody in the theater knew it was happening.
Okay, it comes up one time.
If I knew it was happening, everybody in the theater, even the kid that said the movie was scary, knew it was happening.
So yeah, no, I'm with Trev on this one. Like it was it was poorly established. Like I knew what was going on, but it was a situation where it's like it could just be him being like, "No, I'm not ready to die," or "I'm not ready to be possessed."
Yeah, I was like, is he dying right now, or is he getting possessed, or is it both?
Yeah.
And what do they have to do with each other? I liked, I guess I thought that the scene where LaKeith Stanfield went into the, spirit realm was kind of cool, just because
Astral projecting?
was the astral projection scene, yeah, just because, again, it was visually different than what we had seen. There was a seance scene as well, but this is
I really
not
hate that you
different.
took that scene because yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're all good, but yeah.
Stop agreeing with me so much.
I like how you chased after. Is it Gracie Manor in this one?
Yeah.
I like how you chased after Gracie Manor in this one, or Gracie, Mr. Gracie.
I think that's the scene that I was talking about, isn't it?
No. That's what I am concurring with you.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I liked how he chased after Gracie in that scene.
Yes. Okay.
I like
got
that
it.
fact that he did that in that scene.
Fun scene.
I was concurring with you.
My number 3 is going to be the scene also with LaKeith Stanfield where he is chasing his dead wife through the mansion out into the graveyard.
Mm.
And then she does a whole whip around and she's got like the Evil Dead face going on.
Oh.
The whole Deadite looking thing. I mean, she wasn't full Deadite because they couldn't commit to anything in this movie, like style wise. But like, because that was like the closest thing that they had to a scary scene in this movie. That wasn't just like an overabundance of CG people.
Yeah.
Like the setup and the turnaround and all that, like felt like you had the emotional investment of him wanting to like see his wife again and like, hey, there she is, and she's leading him out into the graveyard, which was finally a new scene for the movie, which was nice to see for 15 seconds.
The graveyard was underutilized by far.
It so was. Especially compared to the original one.
Mm-hmm. And the original one, yeah. Both of them.
Yeah. Props to the original one for like really going out and kind of exploring the manor more. I guess we'll get into that in final thoughts, but yeah, no, that's my number 3.
So, honorable mention really quick right away for me for favorite scenes will be the haunting of the sea captain. That seems to be my honorable mention. But my number 3 favorite scene will actually be Constance Hatchaway and how well they actually produced it inside the attic.
Oh, yeah,
Very close to the ride. Very close to the ride. Where
Yeah.
you see the pictures, all of a sudden the heads disappear. Just the clutter in the attic compared to the ride. Very close. And all of a sudden she appears and she's trying to take off the head.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my third favorite scene because it's done pretty well compared to the ride. This movie did very well compared to the first one for a ride high fives.
Yeah, I guess I would agree with it. It does have more stuff from the ride.
The newer ride, I should say, because it's been highly updated since the 2003 edition of the Haunted Mansion movie came out.
Well, yeah, because they got to get you to want to go.
Or 2003 or 2002?
2003, I think.
I think it was 2003.
I'm not sure. I hate that the paintings in the stretching room talked because they looked awful.
Yeah.
They looked so bad, like shockingly bad.
Yes. But anyways, do you want to go to? You already did your third scene, bro. No, you've nothing else to say. Moving on.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
All right, so we're going to go to our what moments. And our what moments at this part of the show, we're not going to go for a top three. We're just going to go as long as we can.
I'm sorry, what? Yeah.
All right, Trevor, what was your craziest movie? What's your crazy?
That's the craziest movie I've ever seen.
What was that? What's the craziest movie you ever seen, Trevor? Huh? No, craziest scene of this movie
So I think I'm
That made
mostly
you-
following
left you mind blowing, left you mind diarrhea.
this.
If you need, we can lead.
No, you're
You need
good.
us to wipe too?
I know, I have one. So the part of the movie that made me go, what?
Say it right.
No. The part of the movie that...
Say it like that.
Yeah, that part of the movie was
Come on, Trev.
the part
You can do
where...
this. Say
The
say
part,
with me.
the part that made me go,
3,
what?
broke him.
Okay. So that would be... I was wondering why on
What did it
God's...
make you do?
Why on God's green earth in this movie called
Fantastic.
The Haunted Mansion, when everything in the plot is kind of coalescing, everything's coming together, the mystery is solved, they know what to do, why do they go to a different mansion for a 15-minute diversion?
That's possibly haunted.
And it's a spooky mansion. It's might be haunted. It's not confirmed.
We're just not going to touch on the graveyard that's underneath the mansion. That's could have been the spookiest scene in the movie.
It is a
Not to
ridiculous
mention
scene.
the skull and the top hat that is just sitting there.
It is an absolutely ridiculous scene that it kills the pace. The pacing of this movie is all over the place, but this is like literally you feel like you're about to get to like the highest point, like the climax of the movie, and then they have to like drive to a different state to go to this serial killer's mansion, which is now a museum for some reason. And it's just ridiculous. It's
To pick up a top hat that burns up mostly anyways.
to pick up something that ends up not being super useful. I think they do use it, but it's just
It's like the brim.
All right,
something
guys.
like that.
Hey, listen. I'm related to Jack the Ripper. Let's continue.
Great.
Through marriage.
Anyway, that
Whoa.
did not need that scene.
So my number one what scene is going to be the scene where the room stretches up,
Mm-hmm.
and then the alligators somehow got bitten by a radioactive spider and started to crawl up the side of the walls a good 10, 15 feet.
No, higher than that. It was high.
It was pretty high, and they're climbing up vertically, like it's straight up.
Yeah,
And I get that it's haunted, but like, if they're like ghost alligators, why can't they just float?
also,
Like,
when you think about it, who was asking for an alligator in a Haunted Mansion movie? There are other characters that they could have used.
so many other characters.
I guess it needed to be stupid so they could like kick it down at the end or something.
which is really the route that they went at the end. But we'll get into that.
I think it's because they high-fived the the pictures because I think one of them does have alligators.
Oh,
somebody's
that's
walking
true.
on a
That's true. That's
tightrope.
true. Yes.
So I think they're just trying to high five the pictures in that room.
That makes sense. Okay.
Okay, Trevor, what's your number 2? What scene? All right, my bad. What's your number 2? What scene?
Wait,
Are we skipping you?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we kind of hit on it. I mean, we're talking about a movie about ghosts, guys.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a
Ghosts.
second one.
There's nothing.
Really?
I mean, I guess if we really want to go into it,
If you want to talk about like things that are unrealistic,
like how
that's everything.
how he pulls out, like I guess the chair with Frank in it, aka Dane DeVito. How he gets pulled out in front of a semi truck. But I mean, this is a ghost we're talking about, so we got to give it props, especially in Hollywood here.
I have no idea what you're saying.
For me, with a movie like this, that's like a fantasy type movie that's like already dealing with stuff that's kind of outside the realm. It's like they should already set up the rules of the universe in the first kind of act or two of the movie. And then when they break that, that's kind of a what moment for me.
Okay.
Frank being pulled out of the house in the chair, that's not one of my what moments, is a pretty good what moment because they already established once you cross the threshold, they're going to haunt you and they want you to stay there in the house for whatever reason to reach 1,000 bodies murdered, so that the Hatbox Ghost can be resurrected. So Frank being pulled out would be a pretty decent what moment. But that's kind of my take on a fantasy movie. Because a good fantasy movie should have rules set up and follow them.
I actually have thought of a good what moment due to an outside source. How does a top hat not burn in that fire? That thing, even they showed it even burn, and the thing comes back.
A 200-year-old top hat.
And that thing is still like it was burnt, and that thing comes back. And then they use it to fight the Hatbox Ghost. I forgot the real name of the Hatbox Ghost, but they use it to fight the Hatbox Ghost.
So yeah, no, it like takes like 10 seconds to burn up 80% of the hats, and then 10 minutes to not burn up the rest.
They appeared again. The whole thing was full all of a sudden. Again, at the very end, all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's the hat. Oh, it's full again. There's the hat.
Does like Madame Leota put it back together or something? Am I making that up? I don't remember.
No, they had like a strip of it.
They just have a little piece of it, right?
Yeah.
It was like part of the brim.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, it
like
just
a
poof.
section of brim, and it's like the hat's burned up.
Another thing that this movie couldn't commit to. It didn't want to be too scary, and I guess I kind of get that. But like, why didn't
Wait. When we saw it in theaters, that kid was scared.
there was a kid who
But
was
you
scared?
could absolutely
yes.
do like a kid-friendly horror movie. Like I don't know if you really like the movie, but like Krampus, which was a Christmas movie, that's a good kind of entry-level. Yes, Jamie. Yes, it is. It's like a good like entry-level like horror movie, or like The Gremlins, or like Critters. Like
I'm
stuff
even
like
just
that
thinking
is, like,
of
a good like entry-level.
I'm
horror
even just
movie.
thinking
they
of
could
the
have leaned more into that.
The old movie had like the zombies. The
Misery.
zombies were scary, and this one didn't have anything. But what I was saying was, why didn't they grab the skull? That seemed. I thought that he was going to take the skull and not the hat,
Why not take both?
or take both.
Yeah, he should have taken both. I mean, if we're talking about supernatural rules, he just need to salt and burn that skull. Game over.
Yeah.
That sucker is dead. Dead.
What's your number 2?
I don't know if I really have a number 2.
We're talking about ghosts, man.
Yeah, I think that.
Oh man, I got a number 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything. What's your number 2?
So mine's partly due to the weird pacing of this movie, which you touched on briefly. But the climax of the movie, when we're facing off against the Hatbox Ghost, don't reach. When we're like, not where I didn't fight the Hatbox Ghost. I just sat there and cried like a baby. So like the characters face off against a Hatbox Ghost. The ground is collapsing beneath them into chasms, into some hellscape below or whatever. Like that's all groovy. But then we're like, oh, Owen Wilson, who works at like, I don't know, Spirit Halloween 9 months of the year, and then steals a priest uniform to like perform exorcisms for extra money because I guess the joke is Spirit. Where do Spirit Halloween workers work? Which is a pretty good joke.
Very lucrative faking exorcisms also.
Yeah. So like we're already to that point. And the weird thing for me was like the movie's done an okay-ish weird job with the pacing, and then all of a sudden we're at the climax and Owen Wilson is like doing a motivational speech in 2 minutes to some ghosts and turns them over to their side, and then they fly in to fight the Hatbox Ghost, and then Madame Leota rides in on a ghost horse with the medium from earlier. And at that point, the movie came off like it was written by an 8-year-old or a group of 8-year-olds playing with action figures, being like, and then the sorceress rode in on the magic horse and fought the evil wizard. And it's like it gave off that vibe at the climax.
Gimmicky.
Super.
Kind of like Borderlands, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Speaking of Tiny Tina's. Was that me? Oh. But anyways, no, that's my number 2, because it's like the pacing's been pretty all over the place for the movie, and then it just goes wild at the end, and not for the better.
It seems like, yeah, you mentioned earlier that you would probably just take Owen Wilson out of the movie if you're going to take anyone out. And I guess that's kind of the end to his arc, which is, doesn't, they try to make it the end of his arc, but he doesn't really have an arc. So they're just like, see, he was useful at one point. That's kind of it.
I would also take out, like, I loved her as a character, but like, I'd also take out the medium.
I actually thought that, I wouldn't.
She's a ton of fun. I don't know if we needed her. And same with Danny DeVito. I love Danny DeVito in this movie. He was the best character in this. I can't understand you, Jamie. I'm sorry. I'm keeping this in the podcast because I just don't care at this point. She's whispering in some witchy voice. I can't.
All right, Trevor, what's your final thoughts of this movie?
My final thoughts on the movie, I think it should have been a streaming movie. I think it should have been much shorter. There's stuff to like in it, but
I feel
having...
like it's in between. Like Artemis Fowl. Artemis Fowl could have been theaters movie.
It looked cheap, and it should have been much shorter. And having seen it in theaters twice now, I was tuning out at the end. Like, it's not a movie that, like... Put it on for the kids. I think that kids will like it if they have a high tolerance. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be on Disney Plus in October, so that's a good time to watch it. Kind of fun. I wish it was a little bit darker personally, but I understand why it wasn't.
Totally agree, though.
Some funny jokes, some good performances, some okay performances.
So this one versus the original one.
This one versus the original one, I like them in different ways. Neither are perfect. Neither are really that great, really. But they both have some charm to them. It was okay. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Okay. Is it like a recommend to watch, not recommend to watch, recommend to watch while under an influence?
Stream it while you're doing chores or something.
Fair. So this is going to sound like beating a dead horse, but 100% agree. They should have cut 30 minutes out of the movie. Easy. That should have been a problem. They should have cut down on the characters. They should have done a lot of things with this movie. I am with you that, like, between this movie and the original with Eddie Murphy, it's kind of a toss-up. I do kind of like this one a bit more just because I felt like the plot was a bit better. I'm not a huge fan of the whole, like, I'll have to marry some live person. Like, I don't care
Forgot about that.
the whole marriage plot of the original one because she's some reincarnation of my dead wife or something. I just didn't care. The special and visual effects were 10 times better in the original movie. So if you're looking for that, don't go here. I wouldn't say recommend to watch on my end. I'm not going to give it a score out of 10 on this. I know I said 7 the night of. I don't know where I really sit on this. So I'm just going to say, like, not necessarily watch while chores. If you're, like, drunk and bored, or, like, you want to watch something spooky with the kids, this is fair. This is fair. You could also watch The Muppet Haunted House, which is a better movie. And now for RJ and his final thoughts. And the answer to the quiz question.
All right, so the answer to the quiz question, and once again, that quiz question was, the Haunted Mansion is one of the biggest hidden Mickeys in Disneyland, California. What is the biggest hidden Mickey in California? Okay, either of you guys have an answer.
Is it part of like a courtyard or walkway that's in the shape of Mickey Mouse's fat head? Okay.
Kind of.
That's all I got.
Almost.
I'm not familiar enough with Disneyland to like actually give any sort of valuable guess here.
I know that it's something that you can only see if you're like above it, like in a helicopter or a drone or something, but I don't know where it is.
Was it Tom Sawyer's Island? Or Huck Finn's Island or whatever? Is that at Disneyland? That's out.
It is,
Disneyland. Yeah. It's not that?
It's not that.
Okay. I give up.
Trevor, do you have any guesses real quick?
I just know that it's somewhere overhead. That that's it. I don't know.
Is it around Cinderella's castle? We'll walk. Okay.
It is actually found outside of the parks on Disneyland Hotel property on Disneyland Way. They have a big flower cutout of Mickey's head.
This isn't even on Disneyland?
He said in California.
California. It is on Disneyland property still, technically, because it's Disneyland Way and a part of the Disneyland Hotel property. And it's a big cutout of Mickey Mouse.
Beautiful.
That they make. My final thoughts. I actually enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed it more than the original. I'd rather see this one more than I'd watch the original. I liked that they did a lot more high fives than the original. I liked the play on it compared to the original. I like this one more than the original. Still, once again, 7 out of 10.
Can the next Spider-Verse movie have Spider-Man crocodiles?
No. Anyways, I would, once again, 7 out of 10. Watch it with...
Get any closer to your mouth.
Nope. Once again, I would watch it with kids. And then I would also, once again, Halloween time. Halloween time is a good time to watch it with kids. As we were watching in theaters, a kid got scared. As he proclaimed it to the theater that he was scared.
He was fine, though. He wasn't crying or anything. I think he just got a little spooked.
No. He said, oh, this is scary. But this is I enjoyed it. Yes, it ran a little long. But the good part of this, the fact that it ran long, is that it felt like it kept moving. It kept moving along, at least. To me. I didn't feel like there's a dry part to me. I felt like, okay, this part, okay, this is good.
So, I want to speak on my behalf. I know I kind of crapped on this movie, but if you like this movie, no shame to you. Enjoy what you enjoy.
Anyway, 7 out of 10. I'm going to leave it up to you.
Trevor, any last standing things?
No, I guess I do kind of think that the movie deserves like a little bit of kudos for making the story about like grief, because that makes sense, and for a kids movie that's a little bit dark. I think that part of it is one of the better aspects of it. Like I did feel emotionally invested, even though it just kept going and kept going.
And with that, that's been another episode of the Backseat Critics. We out.
Never working with this guy again.
Trevor? I thought he was fine.
We out.
Stupid.
Do you want me to say bye? Bye. Hurry back. Hurry back.